Hi guys, Amber here for Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2016. And we're going to hope that this is the time that I actually film and don't ramble on for 20 minutes. So, first things first, you guys will notice we are in a different part of my craft room today. And that's because where I used to film from doesn't really exist anymore. So we had to come up with something new for today. And I kind of wanted to show a little bit because I had hoped to do a tour today. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, simply because when I do the tour, I really want you guys to see what I've changed, and I haven't gotten enough changed to show you guys what's done. But I will explain a little bit what's behind me. Over here on this side, this is my bookcase that has all my mini bolts on it, and then the bottom two shelves right now are just full of things that I needed to put off to the side when I got rid of some of the stuff that was in my room. And then behind me, the doorway there is the doorway to Yarnia. My plan is to eventually have some kind of sign over it that says like welcome to Yarnia or something like that. I will include before and after pictures so that you can see what exactly it looked like in the process. And then over here, that's the stairwell to my bedrooms. I did a lot of work last week, and I mean a lot of work, and I almost wish I'd spent that time sewing instead, because at least then I'd have maybe something to show you. Probably not, because I'm still doing a lot of pattern testing, except I haven't sewn in like 3 weeks. It's driving me mad. I should just take my sewing machine downstairs and set it up. Boy, would my mom love that. Anyway, during the massive cleanup of 2016, I went through every single container. Every single container. Every single box. Every single thing. Every pile that I had. And I was very harsh with myself. If it was stuff that I hadn't used in years, stuff I had forgotten I owned, away it went. There were some things that went by the wayside and into the garbage, and that's because they weren't going to be things that were usable for anybody. I pulled out a lot of stuff that had that were like keepsakes that had somehow gotten mixed up, notes, toys, trinkets, that kind of stuff. They all went into boxes and went into my bedroom because they weren't stuff that really belonged in my craft room. All told, I got rid of 5.5 bags of yarn plus a box of yarn, 6 boxes of various sizes of supplies of things that I was not going to use, no longer using, or not my thing anymore. I have a couple boxes still of things that I plan to mail out to people. I had 3 tables. I now have just 1, and I had 5 wheelie carts is the best description I have for them. They're usually like 3 to 5 drawers. A lot of times they fit under tables. You can find them at like Target and Walmart and stuff like that. I found that they were just becoming catch-alls for things, so I had a friend who purchased them off of me, and they went out of the house. These supplies went to the children's librarian. They had a meeting yesterday, and they went through them with much glee. I heard there is 1 box of stuff left, and half of it is not stuff that I put in there. Somebody else caught wind of what I was doing and brought in a box and dumped it in with my stuff. But I'm very glad to know that that stuff is going to get used and have some kind of purpose rather than sitting up in my room taking room. The yarn was split up amongst 3 sets of people. The first bag of yarn and the box of yarn went to one of my mom's coworkers who does a lot of yarn work for charities, and she was very pleased with what I sent her. I also sent her a bunch of knitting needles of various sizes that I found in my rooms. There was a while that I was knitting things. I decided I was going to learn how to knit, and not only was I going to learn how to knit, I was going to make socks that lasted for one pair. And I had purchased a lot of needles, so I sent those her way. And yesterday I received a package from my mom when she came home from work, and in it was this gorgeous, it's called a prayer shawl. The idea being that good thoughts and prayers are put into every stitch, and it's nice, long, drapey, so that it can go right over my shoulders, or it can go across my lap. 4 of the bags of yarn that I had went to the kids group that I've mentioned before, sending them some supplies. I took those Friday to that library so that they could have those in a couple of small boxes of other supplies that I found that I thought they could use. And the woman who I know with that group was very pleased to get them. And then, funnily enough, I had split up all the yarn for those 2 groups. And then one of my family members, my cousin-in-law, asked if I was going to throw away the yarn, or if she could have some for her sister, who's making hats for NICU preemies, neonatal intensive care unit preemies. And I said, sure, I'll see what I can do. I figured I'd just give her some out of the stash that I was keeping. And I came home to put the keepsake boxes in my closet in my bedroom and found another box of yarn. So guess where that went? Perfect. So that is sitting in my car to go to her the next time I see her. Unfortunately, even getting rid of all that stuff, I still am not done. Partially because in getting rid of 3 tables and 5 wheelie carts, I lost a lot of places where I had material and stuff. And since I took down 2 tables, I don't have a lot of flat surfaces to set a lot of things on right now. So I'm working on that. When I decided to do a room redo last year, and I didn't get very far, I saw this DIY project to use cubby systems. You see them usually at like big box stores like Target and Walmart that are like 3x3, 2x2, 1x3, stuff like that. This recommended using 2 3x3 cubby systems and putting an unfinished door on it to make the tabletop, which I thought would be great because my rooms are 11 by 11 and this door top was only 80 inches long, and this should be perfect. Yeah, the only problem is that it only leaves about 18 inches to any one side to get around the table, and the whole reason I wanted this table is so that I could get around all 4 sides, because my plan was to take my 4x3 that's currently on my wall to this side that you guys usually see that I keep my fabric in. That was going to go on the long edge, and putting it up against any wall in my room immediately takes away all the point of the storage in the cubby system. So I had a long think about it, and I figured out a solution. And what I'm going to do is, rather than buying the unfinished door, I am going to purchase a piece of plywood, which standard is 4x8. I'm going to have them cut it in half down to a 4x4 piece, and then I will use that as a tabletop. That still gives me 16 square feet of tabletop to use, much easier to go around, and I can still have plenty of room to do whatever I need on it. So I got to do that, except a 4x4 piece still won't fit in my car, so I'm going to have to work out how to do that. May call them reinforcements known as DADDY to do that, but I kind of have to wait on that because we're getting a snowstorm tonight, and the last thing I want to do is haul around wood in snow. Some of the other things I found as I was cleaning out Yarnia, I found I had a lot of project bags with half-started blankets, and I really pride myself on not starting projects like that and then leaving them. It's very easy to do with quilts you know, you start making quilt blocks and you get distracted and you stop, and you know, the worst thing is you end up with a few quilt blocks. I really pride myself on finishing my blankets, and I was very disturbed to discover I had 4 unfinished blankets. So one of them, which I jokingly dubbed that 70s throw when I started it, was this, and it's done in a basket weave pattern. You do double crochet and you go either around the front of the loop or around the back of the loop. The problem is it requires a lot of thought, because you do 3 rows one way and then you do the next 3 rows opposite so that it gets that basket weave look, and I just couldn't keep track and it was driving me crazy. When I pulled it out, I realized it was a good length, but it wasn't nearly wide enough. So I thought, well, maybe I can finish it, and I pointed out to myself that I really didn't like doing it, so that wasn't going to happen. But it is actually a good size for like a dog rug, and there are groups around here, shelters and such, that are always looking for things for dogs to sleep on. So that will eventually be going out for that, and that is my one thing that I've worked on. I haven't sewn in like 3 weeks, and I don't know when I'm going to get back to it. I'm hoping soon, simply because it's really driving me nuts not to be able to sew right now. But I think that's it for me, because by the time I add the pictures, this is going to be over 12 minutes. So enjoy the pictures of before and after with Yarnia, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.